Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with my review for the Deluxe Samurai Star Megazord, aka Tenkujin from Power Rangers Ninja Storm / Hurricanger. I've gotten a lot of requests for this since I previously reviewed the Ninja Storm stuff, and I was waiting to get my hands on an American version, but I've always just had the Japanese one, so I decided to go ahead and review that. I'll take a look at the US version and maybe a comparison whenever I decided to get that, but I'm going to prioritize other stuff I don't have a version of. But yes, this is the Japanese version of it. Let's go ahead and just get started. So this is its default copter individual Zord mode, and it's pretty cool. I have to say, this is one of those ones that in some aspects I got more of an appreciation of it when I got the toy and you kind of get to see it up close, because I've always just kind of been okay on this guy. You know, kind of paying more attention to the Megazord and the other combinations, but I really like the design of like the way it's you know, very much like an area vehicle, and you got the torpedoes there, but the bird design as well, I think it actually looks pretty cool here. I like the copter bit, and it's got like one of those wind up bits, so when you do this and let it go, you know, it'll spin, and then that's gonna come into play too in one of the combinations, but that's pretty cool. And then the turbines I always thought were neat, but I'm a little disappointed by how basic the transformation is. Like, these are the legs, and they basically just click together here, which is kind of nice, but it's funny because, like, I haven't seen Ninja Storm in a little while, but when I took this out of the shop, I'm like, wait, there has to be more to it than this, but there's not. Like, it's really simple, which can be fun, but I'm not even sure what I would want, but I just kind of wish there was something more involved than just literally clicking your heels together. But yeah, it's a pretty decent looking Zord. I'm sure it's somebody's favorite. It's kind of mid-range for me, but I think the toy itself looks pretty good. I really like the paint they use for it. If you can see, it's got kind of a glitter to it, both on the green and the gold, but particularly on the green, I think it looks really cool, and I think it was overall just a pretty solid looking toy if you want to keep it displayed in this mode. And I pretty much showed you what it can do. I mean, it doesn't really roll or anything since it's a plane. It can just, you know, do the spinny bit. As far as the US version, as I mentioned, this is the Japanese version of it, but we did use the same mold, so it's basically at least 90% the same. I'm sure there's some little detailed differences. I feel like I'm going to take a gamble and say that these bits probably aren't in it. It's possible. I don't know. Sometimes they removed the chrome. They did have it on the Ninja Storm Megazord. I could be wrong, but there probably is some differences, but honestly, it was the same mold, so I think that you're pretty good if you got that. As for transformation, it's really simple just to get this into its Megazord mode. Like I mentioned, the legs here, you literally just separate them here, and you got the legs already. And then up here, you just separate these bits and fold them and twist them down, and they're going to become the arms. So super easy there. I do like the way those fit together pretty seamlessly when you fold them up there and it folds into like the cockpit / face of it. And then you're going to take this bit right here, fold it out and around, there's the head, and then line up the part here. And actually, I want to just compliment how this flows together pretty well. Like, this right here is where it's going to break off, and you can see it, but compared to some other ones that have similar things, I think that they actually hide this pretty well. But yeah, you're basically going to extend that, and it's going to become this guy's hat. And there you go. That is the Samurai Star Megazord. Oops, his leg fell back a little bit. It can bend because of transformation, so you can get him in a... I don't know why he's Scottish. I think it's because he's green. I don't know. But yeah, there it is. It's a pretty cool Megazord. It's also never been on the top tier of mine, but I always thought it was unique the way it was done, like the way they have this star here become like its hat. I like the way that works. I really like the red paint here. I mean, you could see it before, but and I think it's a pretty nice looking Megazord toy, like in terms of sleekness. You know, we're used to having blocks and whatnot, but I think that they captured the physique of it pretty well. I mean, it's never perfect, but I think they captured the general look of this pretty well, and being a little bit more of a slender, compact Megazord or Mecha, and I do quite dig it. And again, it's pretty much the same mold as the US version. There probably is some differences in little details. Maybe some of the dullness of the paint sometimes happens, and stuff like that. Before we get to the big combo, which is basically combining this with most of the parts of the Thunderstorm Megazord, I want to just show off really quick cutaway to that this can individually work with both the Storm Megazord and the Thunder Megazord. Okay, so for the Storm Megazord, it's super simple. All you have to do is remove the dolphin. That's literally it. And then you basically just snap this onto the side to become a giant arm. I mean, it's really basic. It kind of looks cool because he has this cool, like, 2 leaf blower cannon arm bit. but you know, nothing too special, but it's neat that you can at least have that. Also, before I forget, you can pull these little, you can pull these little things out of here. Totally forgot to show that in the regular part of the review, so I wanted to show that off here, but yeah. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the formation with the Thunder Megazord. Okay, now the Thunder Megazord is a little bit different. Also, pardon the dust on this. The only thing you really need to do prep-wise is just take the little horns off of here because they're going to kind of get in the way. And this kind of goes differently than you would think because I would have thought it would have involved basically bending these down, but you're basically going to leave these straight out after you separate them. It's more or less like getting it in an almost Megazord formation because then you're separating these and dragging them down to snap over, and then these little bits here, you'll see there's two connectors. They're going to snap right on top here. You can see the ports here and slide them over on each side of his head and snap them in. Yeah, so like went a little bit differently because I hadn't done this in a while, and I was like, well, before I look it up, let me see if I remember how to do it right, and it was completely different than I thought. But this creates kind of more of a backpack. I always like this mode a little bit more because you're not getting rid of anybody like with the Storm Megazord, and it's kind of cool to have these two cannons here, and you can adjust it a little bit. And then you have this like on top, which is kind of neat. So I always kind of dug this mode a little bit more. Again, neither are that perfect, but I do appreciate that they went this extra mile to give you something to do with it. They very well could have just done the final combination and then called it a day. Okay, now that we took a look at those modes, we have this guy ready. I'll link up at the top, you know, the video of my Thunderstorm Megazord if you want to see more details on transforming that. But just basically, this is super simple. You just take the Storm Megazord, remove the lion head, the regular arms, you put Stag, you just separate it, put its arms here, basically do the Falcon head up like he just got out of bed, like it looks like, oh, I haven't combed my helmet hair. And then with Kabuto is the same. You just, or you know, Crimson's, you just separate it, remove the Kabuto horn, and then they go on the feet. And yeah, mine's all brittle and stuff. I'll talk about that actually in a minute. But yeah, super simple prep for that. And like I said, I'll link to the other one. Other prep you're going to need is you're going to need this guy, who, if you have the Japanese version, was sold separately. I honestly don't remember if they did a set for Hurricanger because I, you know, wasn't collecting Sentai live when that happened, but I picked this up individually at Morphicon 2 actually. So you are going to need this to complete this mode. It's super simple to, you know, get what you need out of this ready. You just pull these out. I actually really like how this is done. The way these slide in here is really neat. And these are going to be the hands. Let me set them on the right sides. And then this bit, all you do is remove this and turn it upside down. And we'll do that last because I'm nerdy and like to do the helmets last when I can, or when I remember to. Now, as far as getting your Megazord guy ready, just put this back the way it was, basically. Same thing for this, turn it around, put it like this, and then you're going to fold these up and around. Up and around, there we go, I don't want to knock this guy over. This is mine is a little bit loose on the joint here, so that's why that may or may not keep drooping. And then these are actually going to sort of fold around and hug him. So basically, then you take this bit right here, we'll make sure that these are folded out more as well. But basically you're gonna take this bit here, let me get it to focus on it, that bit here is going to plug in right here and just, sorry about that, that was a little tight quarters there, but you're just gonna snap it on right here. Okay, so I just cut away to me snapping it on just because this kept getting in the way and it was just me awkwardly struggling with the camera. But you can see the legs are gonna kind of loop around. I kind of saved that, so they're kind of hugging him. It's like, you know, he's like really excited to see him at the airport and he just jumped into his arms and then they combined. It's a love story, really, when we think about it. And then the fists go right on here. Let's see if I can get this to go here. One of the plugs will go in this place with the circular hole and the other one will go here in the back. And it's basically just like the ones for Minizord you used for the Thunderstorm Megazord Gorai Senpujin, which I really, really like that one. So just snap these in here like so. Same thing for this side right here. Just 2 seconds. Let me get that. That should be pretty good. And then, because I'm a nerd, I like to save the helmet for last. This is a little bit crooked. Sorry about that, I just wanted to straighten it out a little bit, it was bothering me. And then you basically just snap this right here, there's two little plugs right here. They look like little rocket thrusters, you just land on there, and you want to fold this out and sort of line the feathers at the side up here. And there you have the Hurricane Megazord. Let me back him up a little bit so we can get an all-over shot on this guy. And you can do the spinning again, like I said, it comes back around, so you can do it here as well. So, that's like it's like a really sad version of the attack. But yeah, there you have it. It's a pretty cool combination. I have always liked this one. I mean, first of all, Hurricane Megazord is an awesome name. I miss when we did Megazord names like that. As of this recording, Beast Morphers hasn't come out yet, and we've only got like one of the potential Megazord names, but I miss when it just was. This would be like just Ninja Storm Ultrazord or something, which I guess they did for that, but it's just, I miss when we had really creative names for it, and Hurricane Megazord was an awesome name. I do kind of prefer Gorai Senpujin, aka Thunderstorm Megazord for some reason. There's just something I like about it specifically, but I have always really liked the helmet on this thing. I love the way the copter design looks in the front, and you can sort of align this more if you want. You could even do this so it's kind of opposites, but then it blocks his face, but you know, if you're just really offended by his face, but yeah, you can kind of line that up a little bit more. But it's a really cool design that I really do quite dig. I kind of am bothered by the fact that you are left over with at least some, well, leftover pieces to the side that you have to put somewhere. I mean, there's some places you can find for some of them, but still, I think that's why I like Gorai Senpujins, is just because everything's on there, which is nice. But this is still a pretty cool combo. Overall, I do think this is a solid mech, and I have no problems with this mech itself. I think, like I said, I like the design of it. For the most part, the transformation is a little simple, but pretty cool. If you have other stuff in the Ninja Storm and or Hurricanger line, you get a lot of playability in terms of you can combine it with both individual mecha like this, or you can combine them individually and have separate formations. So there's a lot to do if you already own most of the line. But I did want to give a warning that I'm honestly not sure. For those of you that own the other Hurricanger components, meaning Senpujin and Goraijin, let me know if yours are super brittle, because my Ninja Storm Megazords are really brittle. When I was, you know, untransforming my Thunderstorm Megazord, my Dolphin, like, snapped off a piece, like, and I didn't even really do anything to it. And you can see, like, the plastic is fraying there. You saw it on the waist here. So just let me know, because I'm really curious if that was a problem with the Hurricanger stuff as well, because my Ninja Storm stuff is super brittle. So I have no problems with this one, the Tenkujin. I had no problems with that whatsoever. But just a warning for those of you that have Ninja Storm versions, be careful. But yeah, that'd be really cool if you guys could let me know, and then let other commenters know, like, if there's no problems with the Hurricanger versions in terms of brittleness, I would recommend those over that. But yeah, I still do like this mecha. Not absolutely perfect, but I think it's a good buy if you already, not like goodbye like see ya, but like a good buy if you have other aspects of the Ninja Storm or Hurricanger line. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, don't forget to climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Until next time, Dawson Rider, signing out.